our own music to avoid copyrights. Dee nee 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 nee. Enjoy episode 3.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Hijas de la Grief. Once again, thank you for listening in. My name is Maria, and with me is my sister, Citlali. We are two sisters who just lost our dad on March 25th to glioblastoma brain cancer. And yeah, thank you so much for listening in, whether you're on your way to work or out for a walk or at home, sitting down, watching us on YouTube, or listening in on one of the other platforms. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We hope that you've liked our last two episodes, and here we are again, once again, recording different topics every week, as you will know. And how was your week this week? Because last week we were having a really rough time.
The same.
Yeah.
Well, I again, like, I feel like my whole thing now is good weeks, good bad weeks. Like, I'm literally calling my weeks good bad weeks. And I think I had a good bad week because, as I mentioned last week, I picked up jogging. So I feel like that's been really good for me, and it's been like therapeutic, and it's been great. But then today in the morning, I went on a jog, and I was so motivated to like beat my time from yesterday on my mile. And I literally started like just feeling so tired. But then I was like, okay, what's my excuse? Like, and my dad, remember the last time that Diego and Lauro helped my dad out of the bed? Like the
Mm-hmm.
very last day he stood up.
Mm-hmm.
That literally was just like a flashback. And I was like, I have no excuse to stop running right now because my dad could literally not walk. So what's my excuse? And then I feel like when I start breathing hard, I'm like, my dad was literally gasping for air during his last days. Like, his breathing was all over the place. Like, I have no excuse because I have working lungs, working feet, working heart. So I don't know. Like, it's been therapeutic, but then today I just, it was a lot, and I started feeling like almost guilty for like even thinking about being tired because my dad couldn't even walk. I don't know. But yeah, that was today, and then it was a good week, but bad. I think it's just been again the same thing as last week, like the acceptance that he's not here, and it's hit me like very heavy this week, and it's just been very hard. But I did attend my second grief support group. So I started a grief support group last month, and then this week I had my second one. And it's specifically for people who have lost someone to a brain tumor. So I just feel like I found my people. Like, everybody in that call, like, understands what I'm going through. And it was key because the facilitator was saying how nobody here understands what you're going through. They could kind of understand because they've been through it,
Mm-hmm.
and it really made me realize that when we're grieving and we're telling other people like, oh, I understand what you're going through, like, no, you don't, because it's your
Mm-hmm.
unique experience
Yeah, you
to
experience grief
you.
in your own
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
So then it opened my eyes to our relationship and being sisters and losing the same person, but like realizing like, okay, we both lost our dad, but like this is different. So anyway, so we'll dive into that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my week was, I had a good bad week. So like, I still on my jogging journey, and the kids, busy mom, work, and also like seeing my daughter kind of have her own grief process has been hard, which I'll talk about in a little bit when we dig into our conversation about our differences in grief experience. But yeah, I continue with my good bad weeks, and um, I'm excited. I feel like the running has helped me a lot, but it's also giving me like flashbacks of my dad's like physical condition the last months. Um, and I just feel like I have no excuses not to go run a mile
Like to
every
get
day.
up and do something. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, good bad week. I mean, I miss my dad extra today. I did go see him today, and that was hard. I think it's the first time that I've been to his grave that has hit me this bad. Like I was like crying a lot there,
Well, you called me,
and
and I was like,
well,
oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I called you crying, and yeah, this was the hardest one for sure. And yeah, I think once he has a headstone, I will feel a lot better when I'm there. But until we get that sorted out, it's going to be hard because that was hard. Today was hard. But yeah, how was your week? Because I feel like I'm just rambling, like, and I could go on and on and on.
Well, I think me too. I think it hasn't been a terrible week like it was last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like too it was a good bad week. And I haven't even told you this. And I need to like say it on camera for everybody watching. So last week I shared that Maya had been surrendered to an animal shelter. And I was truly very heartbroken, and I those few days that she was away, it felt like it was just terrible. So I want to say that she is back home, and she has found a family. So she is no longer at the shelter. She has been picked up. Lovely couple have been, like they've been great. And I want to put this out there because I had posted a TikTok where I said like
Oh,
I
yeah,
lost my
I
dad
saw
to
it.
glioblastoma, and like I'm surrendering this pet, and like I explained everything going on. I had somebody comment on that TikTok today. But ever since I posted that TikTok, then I posted another one saying
So
like,
it's not the other girl?
no, it is. So,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
so initially when I was surrendering Maya, I said like, oh, like unfortunately, like tomorrow is the last day with my dad's dog. I'm taking her to the shelter. Like we weren't able to make it work, right? But then we went and we picked up Maya.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked her up. She's back home. So then we were like, okay, we need to rehome her because at the shelter they're just euthanizing like left and right. And
Which was not what they told us they would do. Let's just put that out there.
yeah,
We, when my sister surrendered her, we talked about it, and they had said that they would work with her, that they would work in training, and they understood that she had been through emotional distress, and they didn't give our homegirl Maya a chance.
yeah.
So let's just put that out
Yeah.
there.
And then so we picked her up, and then when I picked her up I said like, okay, we're gonna like, well, at this point we don't know what to do, how to find her a home. And I posted another TikTok specifically talking about like everybody in the Monterey County and surrounding areas, like this is what's going on and I need to rehome this dog. So luckily enough, like I said, she found a couple. But then this morning, like, I was kind of just laying around. Somebody commented on the first TikTok that I posted talking about me surrendering her. And she was basically saying, like, I don't know you and I don't know what's going on, but you should not be willingly killing this animal and taking her to a shelter. And she was saying, like, I know you might think that I'm like overstepping and whatever, but you took in this pet and like you should be taking care of this pet because you decided to keep this pet, but now you're gonna put it on the shelter. Like, you can't expect this animal to be okay overnight. So then, mind you, I had forgotten that I even posted this TikTok, saying like I'm surrendering her. So then I like immediately deleted it because I'm like, wait, now she has a family. Like, don't attack me. And she was literally saying like, you're sharing your life online, so you should be okay with what we have to say. And I'm like, okay, you're right. I am sharing my life. But it like triggered me, and I was like so mad and I was so upset. And I'm like crying. But then at the same time, I'm like, but no, it shouldn't affect me because there's a family now and she's going to be okay. So then I deleted it and I was like, okay, let's not create like a public chaos.
Put it back up so I can go comment on that TikTok now.
So I deleted it and I was like, whatever. And I just like, went throughout my day. And then I was like, no, I think I should reach out to her personally and let her know, like, hi, I've deleted my TikTok. I told her like kind of like the backstory. Even though I didn't personally feel that I needed to give her an explanation, I was like, hey, like, I just want to let you know Maya's fine. She's back home. She found family. Like, if you look at my last TikTok, I talked about it and we found her somebody. So
mad.
I feel like it was like reality hit me even more because I was already having a hard time with Maya. And even though she's back and like I know she's okay, it was very like, oh my God, why are you attacking me? Don't attack me. Like, I don't want any hate.
Well, I think
And I
it's
was
like
like,
also the thing,
you
like,
know?
she doesn't know. I mean, a lot of that's the thing with social media and like when you're putting stuff out there, like people don't know the full story and they're just gonna judge based off of like a minute video or
Yeah.
like 30 seconds or a
Yeah.
picture or whatever.
And I had
Like, she
tried to
doesn't know.
explain as
Yeah.
much as I could in the video, even
And
though it
like
was only a minute.
nobody's gonna understand because they're not going through it, you
Yeah.
know. And even if they were going through it, it's probably a different experience. But my sister tried very hard to rehome Maya. Like the efforts were there and she tried to keep her herself, but unfortunately, like, you know, the living situation and um we're not trying to be grieving and homeless.
Yeah, it's just very difficult when you're like living in a smaller place and you have a bigger dog and stuff. So I mean, but she's back home. She found
And
somebody.
you know what, people that are
So-
animal lovers and that are dog lovers and that know about dogs, if you know breeds, like huskies are very high energy and they need, not that they need space, but like dogs in general need attention,
Yeah.
you know, and they need like space. So like if they don't understand, they don't understand. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're not, my sister was not purposely trying to get Maya euthanized.
Yeah, not at all. It was a very heartbreaking situation.
Yeah, it was not like we were trying to
Yeah.
like take her and like, oh, put this dog down. Like, no,
Yeah.
she tried really hard.
And the moment we knew she was going to be euthanized, we were like, no, we're picking her up today.
Mhm.
Like, I don't even know who she's going with, but she's going to be
pick
picked
her
up.
up and get her here
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So I feel like that was, and this was just today. So I was like, oh, like my week has just been like good and bad, you know, like my emotions all over the place, like trying to
I'm laughing because my dogs are like growling in the
Growling.
background. So sorry.
it's just been like emotions all over the place. Like I don't even know how to describe my week. It was very quick and like it was very like a blurry week to me.
You know what it was?
So honestly, all I know is this girl did get to me in the morning because I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, why am I crying? She has a home.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, like I was very mad because I told Laura too. I'm like, look what this girl posted. Oh, this is not okay. But I'm not trying to get her killed, you know. And I just started rambling. But I'm like, she has a family and she's fine and she's here and she's alive. So we are going to be grateful to God that she's here, that we were able to
Yeah.
save her. So yeah, I hadn't told you that. I had to like, oh, I'm like, dude, and it's so just so stressful too, you know. Like even when in the TikTok, which it was so silly. I'm like, oh my God, like here I am going to talk about my dad and the dog and all this stuff. And I mean, unfortunately enough, it worked. So I directed her to watch my TikTok.
Yeah.
Please. I'm like, please watch my TikTok. Know what I did. Like, no, this dog is not dead. Like, no, this dog is not in the shelter anymore.
I think it's
So-
just because of the situation we're in, like grief process and like knowing how hard you tried, but like also know for future reference, like you don't need no reassurance or you do not need to explain yourself to anybody. Like
I know.
that girl does not know how hard you tried to give Maya a second chance and give her a home. And not only are we, or like in your, I don't want to speak for you, but like not only did you lose your dad and you're grieving your dad, but you're also grieving this pet that
yeah.
we cannot keep,
Yeah.
like neither you or me.
And she's been a family pet for
And
so many years
she's
now.
been, yeah, so she's been around, like she was given to me. And my dad's dream dog was always a Siberian Husky. Like that was his dream dog. He wanted a Siberian Husky.
Wait, you know, I think it's because of the Temerarios album.
I think yes, it was actually.
Okay, we had
Por
this-
el lobito.
Yes. Okay, we need to insert a picture right here.
Yeah, right here. So then, that was his dream dog, and I got it from Elizabeth, the girl that I went to high school with, and she had a litter, and she ended up giving me this Siberian Husky, and I kept it. I actually took it to my suegro's house when we first got her. We kept her overnight with us, I think 3 nights, and then you picked her up from us and took it to my dad. So yeah, she's been around. She was around us for 5 years now.
Yeah, she turned 5.
So yeah. Anyways, you don't need, just know like that girl does not know, but
Yeah. But I
yeah.
think that was like the roughest part of my week, and I was like, "Oh my god, don't attack me!" Like, and I wasn't crying that she was trying to like comment on what I was
Mm-hmm.
posting, because I understand. Like, even us making this video, I understand. Like, we're putting our life out there. People were either have
Yeah.
an opinion or relate or whatever. So it wasn't because of that. It was just because of the fact that I'm like so mad at what you're trying to assume, which didn't isn't what I was trying to do. I
Yeah.
think that was my part where I'm like, oh, don't stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean, other than that, it was okay. I mean, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm
yeah.
breathing. So,
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel.
and I'm walking.
Yeah.
So,
So, but yeah, so I wanted to dive in into like our experience and how different this is for each of us. And the reason why I wanted to like talk about this is because I know whoever is listening to us, and if you've lost a loved one, and like grief is crazy and it comes in waves and it's just a crazy journey. It's so crazy how like we are all connected in grief, and we are all like missing someone and going through this process. But it's crazy to me that we're sisters and we're having like a complete different experience. Like, since my dad was still alive, like the process was different for us, but like especially like grief now. And like I said, it was not until I like went to the support group my second time, and she was talking about how nobody else could have your experience. And yeah, that like made me realize like, oh wow, like my sister and I really are like,
like, it's the same person, but it's a different process.
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, yeah.
Because I
What
feel
do you?
like my process has been very like, I can't stop. Like I have to, I don't know, like I feel like you, okay, I don't want to speak for
Yeah,
you.
don't speak for me.
Yeah, I
Just,
don't want to speak for you, but like I feel like me, like my process, I don't know how to describe it, because girl, I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm trying to pick up everything and anything to like not drive myself insane. Like I picked up jogging. I've been to a grief support group already, which has helped me a lot. Like I feel like I'm just trying to keep myself busy. And I mean, not that I need more busy. Like I have 2 kids. We have 2 dogs. I have my husband, and like we're busy. Like we're a busy family. But I feel like on top of that, I'm like, the jogging has really helped. And then I'm just trying to like, I don't know, I almost question like, am I doing too much? Like, am I trying to
it's
numb myself to it?
yeah. I think in a way it's kind of like you're doing everything to not even have 1 minute to yourself, because it's
Mm-hmm.
going to get to the point where you start thinking back at stuff about my dad or memories or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's been good for me, and I've been okay.
Mm.
But do you want to describe like your situation? Because I feel like we're like living two whole different experiences. Like I don't know. I feel, I don't. Again, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like
Mm.
you're a little bit more like letting yourself just feel.
Yeah, and I think it's because, like, I mean, like, we've kind of said this before. I recently just moved out of my parents. So
Mm-hmm.
for the last 23 years of my life, I was living with my mom and my dad, other than when I went to college.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that even though I was there and I was going through everything with my dad, like physically there, I just feel like I was so numb to everything at a point
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, if I feel right now and my dad needs me in 2 minutes, I'm not going to be okay to go and help my dad, you know?
About to freaking lose it. Oh my god.
So it was like, and I know like we all need a break and we all need to cry. And, I know all of that because it got to the point where I just had to cry.
Mm-hmm.
But it was to the point where my dad was okay during the day, and then at night he was just like super sick, or he was just like having a really hard time walking, or like certain medication would make him feel this way. So I'm like, I was always I always felt the responsibility of being strong
Mm-hmm.
and not trying to be emotionally weak. Not that, that's a bad thing. It's not. But I was like, no, I can't afford to not be okay because my dad might need me,
Yeah.
And it was like I was just like my focus was my dad, my dad, my dad, my dad. And my dad might need me. Like I don't know if my dad needs me. And I was very like I almost stopped doing stuff for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't blame him. Like I don't at all, because I felt like my dad was my responsibility, like as, the person who was there besides my brother and my mom. And I was so numb to it that when I moved out, I had a really hard time. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I was with you for a couple weeks and I was having a really hard time, and nobody knew, because I was like, it just, during my own time, like it just, that's where it like all came. And then when I like moved in with Laudo, it was very like, now that I was separated from my parents, I was like, oh my God, like all of that really just happened. Like my dad had brain surgery, and my dad went through this, and my dad went through that, and I was there, and the ambulances and everything just started replaying in my head. I was like, oh my God, I haven't had the time to cry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I have all the time, I'm like going crazy. So I was having a really hard time for maybe like a month, like since when I moved in with you till like right before they told, like right before the appointment in February, I was having a really hard time. And
Yeah.
then after they told us about like, my dad has the last 3 months, it was even worse. So ever since then, I told myself like, I know you want to do all this. I know I want to read a book. I know I want to buy a new book. I know I want to like pick up like coloring because I love
Mm-hmm.
coloring. And I was like, but I haven't processed anything. So I'm just going to cry. And I'm just going to sit around and mourn if that's what I need to do. And I'm going to sit here and be a little bit miserable if that's what I need to do to feel better.
Yeah. And I think
So
I'm the
I've done.
opposite. Like,
So
I
I've done
need to
it.
be active because I feel like if I'm not doing something for myself, like, I'm not processing. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like I mentioned in the last episode, I think it was episode 1 when I introduced myself. I have a 3 year old, 3.5 year old daughter, and I have a 7 month old son. Well, he's 8 months now. He just turned 8 months. Um, and honestly, like if you've had a child, like if you're a mom, and you're listening to this, um, regardless of your situation now or like the outcome of the pregnancy, or if you have been pregnant and have birthed a child, you know what I'm referring to when I talk about like hormones. Like the hormones are crazy. And I think that throughout my pregnancy, like because I was pregnant when my dad was going through it, I think that I really let myself feel, and I just cried it out so much that I feel like I was kind of like numb to it for like a while, and now it's getting to me. Like now I feel like okay, I really need to do something for myself or I'm going to go insane. And I think that's what I'm trying to do a lot, and I'm trying to get involved um in like advocacy and like awareness for glioblastoma, and I'm trying to pick up jogging, and trying to do things with my kids, like like my daughter's now in ballet, and um I'm gonna get bonding time soon. So I'm gonna spend a lot of time with my son, which I'm excited about because with my daughter I was a stay-at-home mom, and with my son I'm a working mom. This is what I refer to when I'm saying like two different experiences, because obviously we were both there during like the surgery and the diagnosis and everything, but when it came to like treatment, when it came to surgery recovery and treatment side effects, like I wasn't there. And I almost like I was getting into my head the other day and thinking like, should I have could I have done more for my dad? Like, was I a bad daughter? Um, and then I keep replaying everything in my head, and also like reminding myself, like, my dad was such a protector. Like, he was such a protector. And like, I remember when he started radiation, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go, like, I'm gonna, like, ask for the day off or whatever. And he was like, no, because there's signs all over the walls or whatever. Like, you can't go because you're pregnant. Like, that's not good for the baby.
Because you're exposed to radiation and
Yeah.
all the
So
other
I was
chemicals.
like, oh, okay. And then I keep replaying. There's something, I don't know if you remember it, but I keep replaying this day on my head when my dad finished his radiation treatment and he rang the bell and we were supposed to FaceTime each other. And you FaceTimed me, but for whatever reason, like, I didn't get the call. Like, I don't know if I wasn't getting signal at the office or whatever. And I just keep like thinking about how I didn't answer that call or the call didn't go through or whatever. And then I keep thinking of like not just that moment, but every other moment that my dad went through without me. And like, I don't know, like, I'm just like, damn, I really wasn't with him through that. But then I'm like, okay, well, he didn't want me around radiation. Like, he didn't want me to go. And then when he started taking his chemo pills, he literally was like, I am having your mom clean the toilet after I use it or whatever. He was cleaning the toilet after he used it because he was paranoid about the medication handling.
Well,
So
they also told him at the doctor.
yeah, so he was
Yeah.
paranoid about like the handling of the medication, and because I was pregnant with my son, like he was like, no, like, don't come, like, what if this happens or what if this happens? And then later down the road, like, fast forward to me having a baby shower, he got shingles. So he couldn't be around me since July 4th, I believe that's when he got it. Like all the way, no, June, right? End of June?
I think it was like, yeah, the end
Yeah,
of
end
June
of
because he was
June.
fine for his birthdays.
Yeah, so end of June, all the way through, like, I had my baby shower on the end of July. He still had some, like, it was pretty much gone, but he had still had like sensation, so he didn't want to be around me. And I was like, okay, I get it. And then it was just like a lot of like, could I have me getting in my head of like I should have done more for him, but then also me replaying in my head like he was paranoid about the medication. He was paranoid about the radiation. Like he was, other stuff that we had going on at home that he was kind of like, no, don't come. So I think, and that led me to having an anxiety attack on
Oh, yeah,
Thursday.
you told me.
That's
When you were driving.
yeah. So I was driving, and I was vibing. Like, let me set you the tone, girl. Like, I was vibing, listening to Young Miko, and it was like Young Miko and Fercho, and I think it was like Classy. That was the song I was listening to. So if you heard that song, it's a vibe. So I was vibing. I had driven to my favorite coffee spot, Java Java. If you're in the Salinas area and you haven't had Java Java brews, like, you got to, girl, because that place, she hits the spot every time. Anyway, so I'm vibing, driving back to work for my lunch, and then my hands start shaking, and I'm like about to get the highway, so like my hands start shaking, and then my legs start shaking, and like I'm like I just feel like I'm having an attack. I don't know, like I cannot explain it. It was just crazy. And then I just start crying. And then I think it was like all those thoughts about my dad and like could I have done more and all that stuff. And then that led me to that. And then the grief support facilitator was like, yeah, it's normal. And the best thing you did was cry it out. So
And I think that not only to you, but like I feel with anybody who has lost somebody, you're always going to have the feeling of like, could I have done more? And I tell you this because, like I said, I was there through it all. Like, I would go to radiation, pick him up, go to like when he was doing the IV chemo, I would go and pick him up. And like, we did so much at home to try and make him be okay and be comfortable. But when he was like in his last weeks, I thought the same. Is there more that I could have done? Is there more research that I could have done? Should I have taken him to the doctor more? Should I have done this? Should I have done that? But it was like we were doing everything
Yeah, there was
the
like
way
nothing
that
more.
the way that the doctors, you know, said to do, and we were following the treatment plan,
Yeah.
and we were doing everything, and it was like, and I would always be like, oh, well, let's go get a hamburger, or let's go here, let's go there, let's go there, like to try and distract them.
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, maybe he just needed to go out one more time. Maybe he just needed one more bread, one more coffee, something.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that the feeling is always going to be there. But then I also, because I'm kind of, not that I'll ever be at peace, but I'm trying to accept that we did all that we could. And he knew that even he did all that he could, because he told me so many times, like, even when he was fine, like, and he was stable, he would always tell me, like, we're doing what we can.
Yeah.
And we're doing what's in our hands to do. And because I always apologized to my dad when he was in the hospital. I'm sorry you're here again. And I'm sorry you're here. And I'm sorry that we can't stay the night with you. Because they wouldn't let us.
Yeah, not because we didn't
Yeah.
want to.
And I'm like, we're down the street, but I'm sorry we can't stay right here in this chair with you. And then I'm like, I'm sorry you're here and you're not at home. And he's like, this is not your fault. I'm like, we're here because I need to be here. And I'm like, but I wouldn't want you to be here.
Yeah.
I know you need to be here. So it's like little stuff, like, I get where you're coming from, because I feel like too, when I moved out, it was like we never expected it till, like, you know, a month later after I moved out to be told, like, hey, your dad only has 3 more months.
Yeah.
So
Because when they, I think, okay, so one of the other things about glioblastoma, or like any tumor, but I'm going to speak about GBM because that's what we experience, that's what we know. Like, when the doctors were saying like it's invasive, like, we didn't think it would move as fast as it did.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we're struggling too, like in this process of it just happened so fast, and but honestly, like, I'm trying to look at like the positive stuff, um because losing my dad, they say losing someone and losing a parent changes you, but like, I feel like losing my dad has really like changed my complete like life, the way that I see life completely. Like, the last couple of weeks, and I haven't even told you this, but I haven't even told my husband this, but the way that I have felt lately is like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to snap out of like the negative part, but like this part I'm like very stuck on. Like, nothing is that serious. Like,
Yeah.
life is not that serious. And I was thinking the other day, like, okay, we're living every day, but in reality we're like dying, because eventually we're all gonna
you're
die.
slowly dying.
So I'm
It's like every day is the last day in your life.
yeah, like,
It's not one more day. It's, well, in the sense, it's one more day, but it's also one less day.
yeah. So I was like thinking, like, okay, life is not that serious. Nothing is that serious. Like, you know what? I woke up in a bad mood today and I'm having a bad day, but tomorrow, if I wake up, it's going to be a good day. Like, it's going to be a better day. Like,
Yeah.
like,
I've had the same thing this week. It was just like, I was so mad, and I was like, oh my God, I'm stuck in traffic. I'm like, oh my God, but my dad's dead.
yeah. So I
So
don't
I'm
know.
like, oh,
It's
okay.
it's giving me that, like, nothing is that serious.
Like, nothing is worse than.
And I am like, have been very overstimulated this week, and every little sound, or like if the music's too loud, or I mean, I get overstimulated in general because I'm a mom. But like, ever since my dad died, it's been extra, and like extra noise, extra stuff, like, it gets to me really bad. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, girl, your dad is dead. Like, nothing is that serious. Like, why am I mad at my husband? Like, it's not that serious, Like, why am I upset that I'm running late today? Like, it's really not that serious.
Yeah.
But like, also, it's important to be on time.
Well,
But then I'm like, you know what?
yeah.
I'm breathing, I'm walking, I'm good. Like, health is wealth,
We're
baby.
alive, yeah. You
I
know,
don't know. I've
No,
been
this
feeling
is
like that.
this is so crazy because I mean, even though we grieve differently,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. like like yesterday I went and I was like, I should not be getting a coffee, man. Like, I just got paid. I should not be spending on a coffee. Like, I should really go and spend on something else. I'm like, but what's less $7 in my account to go get a coffee?
Yeah.
Like, one day I'm gonna die, and I'm not gonna have coffee.
Yeah,
So
this
then it
grief
comes.
is gonna get us into bad decisions
Well,
because today,
no.
okay, I went to the farmers market today. We go every weekend, and there's this place that I love. I don't know how to pronounce it. Le Sucre. Le Sucre.
Le sucre.
Yeah,
Le sucre.
and her
I don't know. I'm not French.
pastries are.
Oh,
Yes.
the fruit shape.
I'm gonna insert a picture
Right
here.
Oh,
Yeah, a ver. So I love
extra work for the
her
editor.
I love her pastries, like love, and it's like a what do you call it? Like a fine art pastry. I don't know
It's like a 3D pastry.
Yeah, no, well,
It's like a fruit shape.
yeah,
We'll
what-
insert a picture right here.
right here. So, but what I'm trying to get at is like this is art. You know,
Yeah.
this is a craft.
Yeah.
You know, it's not your typical $5
Cheesecake
Danish
or
at
something.
Starbucks. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's art. It's a craft. You know, I believe it's $13, $14. I don't know. So every weekend I be buying myself this mango pastry, and I'm like, oh, okay, it adds up. You know, 14 times 4 because I buy it every Saturday, and I'm like, okay, that's a lot. But then again, I'm like, I really like it. And what if, you know, like my dad was asking for stuff like towards his final days when he was in hospice, and I'm like, and he really couldn't have it. Not that we didn't want to give what he was
He
asking
just
for.
couldn't swallow
Yeah,
anymore.
he couldn't swallow it anymore. And I think the last thing I gave him, one of the last things he asked for was a Coke, and I gave him a little bit of the Coke like with a straw,
Tiny.
and
little-
he was like, you know, the gas was too much for him. So I was like, girl, get your pastry. Like, let's go
Yeah.
get this mango because I could die tomorrow. But you see, financial irresponsibility.
Well, that's why you budget.
Brought to you by grief.
No, and I don't know. It's just like I mean, and I obviously I have replayed back to like even the water when he was having a really hard time with water. When I'm drinking water, I'm like, you know, like let me enjoy this water.
Yeah.
But not only that, but it was like throughout my dad's life because he always wanted to make sure he was financially okay, you know, to provide for his entire family and his kids. He was always like, oh, like this sounds good. Oh, never mind, I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to make sure that all of his family needs were covered first before he bought anything.
Yeah.
So it was very like, oh my God, like it plays back to where, oh, my dad maybe wanted that, but said, never mind, like the kids need clothes, the kids need shoes, or we need to pay rent. Simple as that. So he didn't, I mean, he's, you know, he bought himself stuff, but not all the time.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, ugh, $7 on a coffee once a week or something.
And
twice a
honestly,
week.
this is in no way
You
saying
know.
like go out and be financially
Oh, yeah,
responsible.
no.
So if you're driving to work and you're gonna stop for coffee, we're not saying do this every day. Like, or I'm not saying like, you know, order yourself like something expensive online or whatever. But I think what, you know, I know what you're thinking. Like, you know, my dad was a provider, not just for us, but for his family, his parents, his siblings in Mexico too. Even for his, you know, sibling that lives here in the U.S. for a while, like he was a provider for her. So I understand where you're coming from. And I also understand what you're thinking of, like, he was always so worried about, like, everything that he didn't enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
And why are we not going to enjoy this coffee and this mango pastry, you know? Like, I get what you're saying.
No, and then when he did like spoil himself, you can say, because it was like he would buy himself stuff, but not all the time. It was like he was very happy, and it's like I want to feel like happy to buy myself something when I'm craving it.
Yeah. And you know what?
You
On
know?
this topic.
And you budget, guys. You budget.
Yeah. And on this topic, one of the things that I've been struggling with lately is my dad was our dad was only 48. Like, let's say that he was
Very
only
young.
48. He was very young, and there was a lot unleft. I mean, there was a lot left to be lived. Like, there was a lot. I mean, I feel like when anybody passes, you are like, oh, I want this, I want that. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. But I feel like with my dad, there was truly like things like that we wanted to do. Um, like he we would joke around with him and call him bitter. We call him amargado because he lit. Well, like there was a lot of things left, that we wanted to do because he was always focused on providing. Like one of the things is when I was a little girl, I always wanted to go to Disneyland, and I guess that's why I'm obsessed with Disneyland now. Um, and he never took me. You know, like my parents never took me to Disneyland. And when he did take me, I was already 21. I think you were 14 and Junior was 7. So, we were like already older when he finally took us. And then something happened in that trip that it was not the best trip. So, but then we had some good memories there too. And so that was like the only thing that we actually did. And we did other stuff with him, but like when it came to big trips and stuff, he always like left them, and he's like, yeah, después, like later on, we'll do this later on, we do this later on. And then he gets cancer, and those things are left
to do.
a little later on, never came. And I think that one of the things that I've been struggling with on this topic of like, let's do things now and live now because you never know, is he wanted to go to Disneyland. And like, he hated Disneyland. He was always like, is there not another place in California that you could go to? Is there not another place in the United States that you could go to? Like Mickey Mouse, when you walk into Disneyland, Mickey Mouse is probably like, oh, here she comes again. Like that's what my dad would tell me jokingly, but like in a serious manner, I guess. He was trying to tell me something. And he would always make fun of me and saying like that the characters already knew my daughter. Obviously, we know the characters are on rotation, but that's how he would joke with me. And then towards the end, like when he really couldn't go, he wanted to go. So I think that's been replaying in the back of my head. Like he wanted to go to Disneyland. He wanted to go to Universal Studios. Like he wanted to go to San Diego. And he couldn't anymore. So that's been replaying in my head. And I've been trying to turn it into of like, I'm not going to, instead of feeling guilty about that, like I am going to work to live and not live to work.
Yeah.
Because my dad, and this is not in no way, like shape or form me like bashing on my dad or talking bad about him. But I feel like he truly like lived to work.
No, and he actually said this. That's so crazy because he obviously said it in Spanish. This is so crazy. I really hope that I find it, and if I do, I'll insert it right here. And if it's not right here, it's because I didn't find it. I did, I did a presentation for my Spanish class in high school, where we had to basically like interview somebody that had come to the U.S. and whatever. So my dad was like, "Well, I can do it." So we did it on him, and he literally said that que él vivía para trabajar. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So I really do love my job. Like I really do love my job. I love what I do. But I feel like I've never had an issue actually like spending my money. Unfortunately, I feel like I've never had an issue with like doing plans with my family or like doing stuff with the kids. Like, I mean, like we're always like out and about and doing stuff with them. Obviously, like trying to be like, I'm only 30, so I'm also learning. Like we're learning about like financial stability and all that stuff. Like we didn't come from any of that. Like we don't have any knowledge when it comes to anything financial. Like my husband and I are learning as we go, like literally. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna be financially irresponsible just because my dad died, but I, even though I love my job, I really want to like work. Like right now, my motivation is obviously working because I love what I do, and um, I know like I want to believe that what I do for work, like positively impacts
Mm.
other people, but also like I really want this money to like live,
Yeah.
to live with my kids and like with my husband and get all these experiences. And I think I'm just scared. Like, I don't want to do, or I don't want what happened to my dad happen to me. Like if I were to
Yeah.
get sick and pass young, like I would want my kids to have more memories and more pictures and more, because I feel like material stuff is not it. Like the kids, my husband needs memories so that when, if I do pass before them, I hope I don't. Like I hope I die de viejita, like because I'm an old lady. But if I do die young, like at least I did live and I'm not having regrets.
Yeah. And I think this is something too that I mean I experienced, like with my dad and stuff, where I would always take my day off. Like I am not ashamed to admit that when those 3 hours were in my bank, those were the 3.19 hours that I was taking off. I am like,
They say like there's the type of employees that have 100 hours on their PTO bank, and then there's a type of employees that is like gets 3 hours, requests 3 hours off.
yeah, no, and yeah, and I was so like, boom, 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 request, 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 because hey, at the end of the day, this is my time. Like I
We're
really
so
like what I
bad.
do too. I really like what I do. I mean, obviously, I'm still there. Like I really like it. If I didn't like it, I know like go look for somewhere else. I mean, it's easier said than done, but technically, you can
You
look for.
can, yeah.
You can. So I would always take my time off. And when my dad was still fine and working, he'd be like, "You're already home?" Like when he would get home, like at whatever time. "You're already home?"
Yeah.
"Yeah, I have time off." "And why are you taking your time off? Take care of your job." "Okay, but I'm taking my time off." But then when he
Yeah.
became sick, obviously I still had my time off. I ended up requesting like the FMLA, so I was covered through that as well to take time off with my dad for appointments, etc. But there was days where I was just like, I really just want to stay home and I just want to be with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I would call it my mental health day. And the very first time that I took a mental health day, my dad was like, "¿Y qué
Losing his
chingados
shit.
es eso?" And, like, "¿Qué chingados es eso?" I don't know what that is. I'm like, you just really take a day for yourself and you do what you like. And, like, if you just
Oh my
want to rot in
god.
bed, then you just rot in
I
bed.
am laughing because I remember your mental health days, because obviously like I had my son, I was pregnant, I was on maternity leave. Um
We would
and
FaceTime you.
yeah, like the two of you would like FaceTime me. So I felt like I went on these mental health days with you,
Yeah.
because it's like, let's go to Blaze, let's go get coffee, let's go
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. And it was very like,
And my dad would answer his phone like, we're taking our mental health day.
yeah, he would. Okay, so at
Yeah.
first it was like, "Oh, what is going on?" And then I'm like, "Well, this is what we're doing." And "¿Y
Mm-hmm.
qué se hace?" And then I was like, "Whatever you want." And he was like
Yeah.
having a very hard time accepting it because
Yes.
in his so many years of working, he never took time off. He was that employee that was like
Yeah.
always working,
And
you
you know
know?
what? I think it's like children of immigrants
Yeah.
and immigrants. Like my dad was an immigrant, but I feel like us, like children of immigrants, we're taught to hustle. Like that is all you have to know when you come from nothing, and when you are brought to this country. Like at least, I'll speak for myself. Like my dad would always be like, we brought you to this country, like what do you mean you're not gonna do this? Or what do you mean, you better have good grades because we didn't bring you from Mexico for nothing. You better have good grades because we didn't bring you from Mexico. Like, or you think I'm doing all this hard work for nothing. And it's not that he was like, he was strict, but it's not that he was a bad dad. I think it's more of like, that's what we are taught because of where we come from. Like, we came here for a reason. We're going to work our asses off because what else are you gonna do? Like, not work? Like, you came to this country for a better opportunity. So I think because of that mentality, like, my dad had a hard time, like,
Taking his time.
taking his time,
Yeah.
yeah, and like enjoying, you know.
Yeah.
And
So when
even
I was
me,
doing it, he was like so happy. And like the very first day, I remember he called my grandma too, his mom.
mm,
He was like, "Oh, like you know, Citlali's taking a day off from work." And then she'd be like, "Why is she sick?" And my dad was like, "No, we're taking like a mental health day." And he even had me like do the actual translation on Google Translate
to tell her,
to tell her what exactly it was. And she was like, "Oh." And literally, like, I told my dad, okay, whatever. Like, I was taking the day off by myself, but let's take the day together. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go have breakfast, lunch, and probably some dinner.
yeah.
And we would just go. We would start off with a coffee. And sometimes we wouldn't even go in town. Like, we would go, like, out of town. And I'd be like, all right, we're going to drive and we're going to enjoy the music on the way there. And we're going to grab coffee and we're going to go shopping. And, like, you know, we would grab stuff while we were out too, like groceries,
Yeah.
whatever we needed. So it was really nice. And
She's
then
like, we were responsible.
yeah, we
came
were
home with
responsible.
groceries.
And he was enjoying his day. And then we would go back. And then, like, I remember the second time I did it, he was like, and when are we taking the next one?
Yeah.
And we actually still took like another day. And I remember that day, like, he had to go to treatment. But we still tried making it a good memory. Like, after we went to eat, you know, like, he was
And
feeling good.
I think again, it's from
And
that
it was like,
mentality of like hustle mentality. Because
Mhm.
when I resigned my job a couple years ago, um, so my husband would travel for work. You know, he'd relocate to Arizona, and it was months at a time. It was not just like, oh, I'm going, you know, to Arizona for like a week or two, whatever. It was like months. So we, at the time, we thought we were gonna like relocate, you know, like over there. And I resigned my job to pretty much move to Arizona with him. And my dad lost it. Like, he was like, what do you mean that you're leaving your job? And I was like, you know what? I'm not really happy at this job right now. And I want to be with my husband. And it's very important for me to relocate with him. So I did. You know, I put in my notice like more than 2 weeks because I really like this job. Um, so I was like, I don't want to catch them off guard. You know, I'm going to give them like a lot of notice, which I did like almost 2 months. And he was like not happy. Like, he was like pissed. More, he was livid. Like, he was like, the things he told me on the phone that day, oh my god, like, I'm scared. I'm scared, and it already happened. And anyway, so I resigned that job, and he was like not happy. And then fast forward to like me being in Arizona and pretty much being like a stay-at-home dog mom. Like, he's like, where are you going today? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go walk me. I'm gonna take her to the park, blah blah blah. And then he kind of like was still mad, but he was kind of like digging it, you know. And then when I got pregnant, and then I had Kehlani, and like I was a stay-at-home mom with her for like the first year and a half, he was like not happy about that either. And he would like be like, so what did you go to college for if you're not gonna work? What did you go to college for if you're not gonna use your degree? I'm like, well, nobody's gonna take this degree away from me because it's in my brain. You know, like, I'd be like, I've always been a smart ass. So I always like, I'm like a rebel kind of sometimes with my parents, like well, with my one parent that I would talk to a lot. And I would always like have a comeback, you know. So I'd be like, well, nobody's gonna take the education away from me because it's in my brain. Nobody's gonna take it, so it's not going anywhere, dad, like, you know. Anyway, so my point with
It's right
this,
here.
yeah, it's right here, like, nobody could take it away. um so let's go. If Blastoma comes, well, then we'll take it away.
Hopefully it doesn't come.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was like not having it, right? He would tell me those type of things, but then when he would like get to see Kaylani a lot on FaceTime, and we talked a lot because he was a truck driver and I was home, so I had all the time. He like kind of liked that. And fast forward to me being pregnant with my son and him already being sick, he's like, so when are you going on maternity leave? You know, like, he was excited for it because obviously coming from where he came and like the background of working in the fields, like, moms taking time off to be with their children like not only to prepare for labor, but also like recover from labor and then baby bonding time. Like it's not a thing, you know, like a lot of people like in our community, like they don't really know what their rights are, and also like they probably cannot afford to get like a fraction of it, of like what they get paid. So he was like, nah. At first, he didn't understand it, but then he was like happy for me. So I could relate to like the whole mental health thing, because I think towards the end, or not towards the end, but like as he experienced more things with us, he kind of got it. Like he's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like, you know,
Yeah. He would have a blast too.
yeah.
Well, is there a picture right here? No, seriously,
And
because
this is if you're watching us on YouTube. We keep
Oh, yeah.
saying, because I know, like, I forget that we're like on these other platforms, and we keep
Yeah.
saying we're gonna insert, we're gonna insert, we're gonna insert,
Yeah.
but we are.
Yeah.
Well, not
Yeah.
me. The editor is.
And it's just-
AKA
and-
Citlali.
and it's just because like he would really enjoy like the time, you know, of like we're gonna take a mental health day and we're literally gonna take care of ourselves. We want coffee, let's go get coffee. We want a pizza, which we would get. Like let's go get a pizza, you know? And it's still like I think not only because my dad was sick, but before that, like I was taking time off already. You know, before we knew he was sick, I was taking my time off. Like I remember like I would go home like on a Valentine's Day. I left like work I actually think it was my like first. I think it was like the first week that I was working at that job. Then I was like, "Mom, I'm already taking time off, and it's Valentine's Day, and I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna go get a balloon for my dad." And I did, or I think it was the second year. I don't remember, but I took time off on Valentine's Day, and I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna go grab balloons and a chocolate for my dad and my mom, and I'm gonna get home early, and we're gonna have some food, and then we're gonna enjoy our day.
Yeah.
And he was like, little things that I would do like that. Or sometimes like I would just get off early and I'm like, well, I know they're gonna come home soon, but they're not home yet. Like I'm gonna bring some pizza, or I'm gonna go buy a meat so we make some tacos or something. And he would be like, oh, like wow,
Yeah.
like you're not only taking time off to like do stuff for yourself, but for all of us. And I'm like, well, yeah. If not, then what's the point of it? Like I'm taking time off, but I'm being productive.
Yeah, and I think it's
Yeah.
just, it goes back to like that hustle mentality, and like not
Yeah.
really ever doing those type of things. But I just realized that we went off tangent again, and we're just like rambling,
Rambling.
but who cares, right?
Well, but maybe other people have seen it or have even experienced it personally.
Yeah,
Where
I
you're
think-
like, I'm not gonna take time off. I'm not gonna take time. But then at the end of the day, it's like take care of yourself. Obviously, if you could afford it, like right, like if you're getting your like paid time off, because not
Yeah.
everybody does. Like I do know there's people out there who have jobs that unfortunately don't do paid time off. Like if you want time off, it's unpaid. And it goes back to a lot, you know, agriculture. They do that a lot, especially like
or they have limited time.
or
off.
limited time, and it's harder for those people. But thankfully, like I at the time I had a job where it was like I can take all this time off to be with my dad, and then now I'm still in a job, you know, where I can take my time off when I do have it. So it was very like, well, I'm not trying to feel like I'm gonna lose my job, but I have my time off, so I might as well take it. And people
Yeah.
get it. People go to appointments too. People have a life.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think a lot of people, like, especially if you are child of an immigrant, you know, or immigrant yourself, like, you understand like that mentality of like you gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta hustle, you gotta hustle. Like it's like a nonstop thing. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like engraved into you. Like if you are not working hard, like
What are you doing?
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I'm being happy.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and
it's-
that's the other thing too. Like when my dad would, like, he would literally sometimes tell me, like, "Why are you so happy?" Like what? Like when he was in a bad mood, like, and we would talk, cause we would talk. Obviously, I've said this a lot. Like we talk every day. Like, why are you so happy? It's like, what do you mean? Like, we're alive. We're like, look, I'm drinking my tea and over here in my backyard. It was a little small backyard. Like, you know, we had a tiny apartment before, but it's like, cause I'm living. Like, I don't know.
I'm breathing. I'm here.
Yeah. So before we start wrapping up our third episode, so if you're still listening to us at like, I don't know, 50 minutes, thank you so much for staying here. Um, this is grief is crazy. Grief is crazy, and we're experiencing it very differently. Like I've mentioned, I'm a mom of two, and my daughter is 3, and she's having her own little grief process. Like today, she wanted to go see Grandpa Joe and show her show him how she was dancing, and I'll show you the video later because I haven't even shown it to or sent it to you. She was literally dancing like in his grave, and then she was like that, Grandpa Joe. So I think like the way we're experiencing grief is a lot, and I know that we have a lifetime to go. So this episode probably also felt like we're just like talking and talking and talking and like just about our feelings, but I also feel like this is therapeutic for us, and maybe for other people too. Like grief is silent too. Like not a lot of people want to talk about it, and just know that if you're going through it, like you're not alone. Like we're here. If you want to message us, if you want to listen in and just grieve with us, and if you just want to take a moment to acknowledge what you're feeling, like just let yourself feel the grief, whether that's like going crazy like me and doing everything and anything that just comes across your path to like do it. Like that is my way of letting my feelings, like letting myself feel. Or whether it's like my sister, and you're like literally like letting yourself feel. Just know that you're not alone, and like grief is crazy. And even on the good days, like for at least for me, even on the good days, and random thing happens, and then I lose my shit in the car, or now I'm getting anxiety attacks. So, but yeah, you're not alone. Thank you for listening. And before we start wrapping up, I want to mention that I am going to be posting a link down below, on the description on our YouTube, and then also I'll post the link on our Instagram. So like, I'm going to be doing a walk with the National Brain Tumor Society in memory of my dad. It's not just me, it's like literally thousands of people that are going to come to this event. And pretty much the National Brain Tumor Society does these events throughout like the states to like fundraise and pretty much like advocacy and trying to get funds for brain cancer research. Because as you know, like a lot of the systems are broken, and we need to fundraise to try to do more research on treatments and all that stuff. But anyways, I'm not gonna dig into that. I'm just wanted to let you all know that I will be doing this walk in memory of my dad next month, and I guess the cutoff to fundraise was like now, but well, not to fundraise. I could keep fundraising. The cutoff to get a shirt for the event was like yesterday, and I just signed up today because they emailed me about it, and I was like, sure, I'll join that. But if anybody is interested in donating, it is tax deductible. So whatever you do donate, you could use it for your returns. And I will post the link. And yeah, I'm very excited. I have been doing like the grief support group that I do is also through the National Brain Tumor Society. So I'm excited to be learning more about it in this community. And I wish I didn't have to like join this call with a bunch of people that have also lost someone, but it is where I'm at in my journey. Um, and yeah, like thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. We'll go ahead and catch you on the next one.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in today. And if you're listening in one of the platforms, whether you're like we said earlier on your way to work or out on a walk or just relaxing in your backyard and decided to listen to us annoying girls for whatever reason, thank you so much. We appreciate you. yeah, we'll see you on episode 4.